Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I don't even know why I say the word happy, but I just felt a strong calling to jump onto Instagram Live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. So good to be here with you guys live. I really wanted to share some of the messages and offer any guidance that I can give right now. These intense waves that we're going through and energetic shifts. Hello, welcome. I love you guys so much. So grateful to be here, navigating these shifts with all of you. So, where do I start? My whole body is vibrating at a really high frequency right now. I was knocked out energetically yesterday all day, literally laying all day long, almost 24 hours straight. So I share that because there's a lot of restructuring of our cells right now. The cellular structure of our physicality is shifting right now, in this now moment. On top of the fact that we are feeling emotionally so much more than we ever have. We are continuing to feel more and more and more. We are beginning to feel not only the energetics of everything, right? Because we're becoming more energetic. So we're starting to feel energy more. But we're also starting to feel what that energy is, the emotions that it allows us to feel, the thoughts that come up from that energy, the belief systems that are held in that energy or consciousness. So there's just so much happening right now. So much. And so I wanted to jump on and just let you know that whatever's going on with you is so okay. It is so okay. And we're learning or remembering how to be okay with everything. And when I say okay, it's not like, oh, I just have to allow it to be, right? Like I just have to sit back and watch it all unravel and just be okay with it. No, it means just allowing yourself to be. Allowing yourself to be angry, allowing yourself to be rageful, allowing yourself to be sad, allowing it without the control, without the grip, trying to navigate it and steer it in a specific direction, making it right or making it wrong, beating yourself up, judging yourself, right? We're energetic beings, i.e., we're going to feel a shit load and we're going to continue to feel a lot. And that also means that we're going to feel the dark, dense consciousness. Yesterday, when I sat with the Galactic Federation, they showed me planet Earth. They showed me the Earth separated from the Earth that I see all the time, which is this high frequency light being. They showed me this Earth that was dark, really dark. And I was like, why are you showing me such a dark planet? And they said, both are happening right now. Both need to be seen. You need to look, Lori, at the dark. You got to see this, because there was a piece of me that was like, oh, I don't want to look at a dark planet. Like, I don't want to see that. And they said, but this is what's happening right now also. This is what's happening, Lori. And they showed me the light, right? The light, planet Earth bathed in light, planet Earth bathed in darkness. Both right now. So if you think about what's going on with you personally, right? Or with the collective right now, massive amounts of high frequency light and a shit ton, excuse my language, of dark, correct? Density, high frequency density. Matter is dense. Crystal is light. We are shifting from matter to crystal. We are moving from 3D to 5D, matter to crystal, density to light. So what's happening on the collective? It's shifting from density to light. And so what does that mean? It means I've got to keep my eyes open and feel that density. the dark. And I can have the opinions about it. I can have my right wrongs about it. I can have my judgments about it. But at the exact same time, in that now moment of feeling that density, that darkness, that rage, that sadness, can I surrender into it? So instead of fighting the current, meaning trying to push against it, like a force, how do I imagine myself in a raft floating through it? It's a little bit of a different way of experiencing that density. And this can be your own density that you're clearing or integrating, or the collective's. When we force and push and fight against it, there's struggle, there's suffering. When we just allow ourselves to imagine like you're floating down a river on a raft, and it's like, oh shit, here comes rage, here comes anger, here comes sadness, here comes depression, here comes all these things that I'm just on the boat moving, surrendering to it. There's a flow that happens. It's not that you're negating or trying to maneuver yourself away from or out of the way of that which feels uncomfortable. Quite the opposite. You're running right into it, right through it. This is about us no longer trying to dodge that which feels like shit. We can't do that. We got to stand in this and say, oh, in this now moment, I'm feeling like dink, dink, dink. Okay, that's part of my human experience in the now moment, and there is nothing wrong with it. It is okay. It doesn't feel good. I want to blame somebody. I want to get angry or rageful about the inequalities or the injustices, and we can do all that. But can I do it on the boat floating down the river? Hands in the air, allowing it to just be. Density shifting into light is the much larger picture. My guides have been showing me the dark over and over and over again. Why the hell did they show me a dark planet Earth? Why? These are high frequency light beings. Why are they showing me a dark planet right now? Because I got to see it. Because I got to understand what I'm doing on the earth plane. Why the freak did I come down into human body? Why did I come down here? To see what I'm shifting. To look it in the eyes and say, oh, that dark crap is what I'm shifting? Got it. Thanks for showing it to me. In a surrendered state, I see it all as a divine plan. In the human body, I feel it as rage and anger and sadness and gut-wrenching whatever, right? And this is both internally, my own process of what I'm going through internally, clearing out, integrating me, the human being aspect, and the collective as well. It's the same. The way you are navigating your own internal purging, healing, integration is how we are doing it externally as well. So they don't show me a dark planet so that I can get depressed, so that I can think that everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Quite the opposite. They show me a dark planet so that I can see what I'm doing, what you're doing here, why you're in human form. The STARSEEDs that came down, the LIGHTWORKERs that have been doing this for thousands of years. Right? We are shifting. This is a physical shift in consciousness, which means that we are literally taking dark and alchemizing it into light. That's what we're doing. You're alchemizing conscious, you're alchemizing energy. So you can only alchemize if you see what you're alchemizing. Get it? You can only alchemize, you can only shift if you see and feel what it is you're shifting. So I have to feel the traumas in my body from when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 18, 6, 25, whatever. I got to feel that. That's how I alchemize. That's how I shift from carbon to crystal. I say, oh, look, look at that dark shit coming up. Excuse my language, right? Look at this. Oh, look what's coming up again. Look what's coming up again. Oh, I'm alchemizing. I'm shifting. I'm ascending. It doesn't become these spiritual terms. It becomes a physical alchemization process, quite simply. Take spirituality out of it. This is just us alchemizing into higher frequencies of light. And guess what we're doing? While we're doing it with our own individual physical forms, we're doing it for the collective. We're doing it for the collective. We're alchemizing the massive, large collective consciousness. That's why you're here, right? And so the juggling of this, or the difficulty of this, I don't even want to use the word difficulty, is that we're in a dense consciousness, we're in a dense dimensional field. So to be able to hold neutrality is almost impossible sometimes. And it's not necessary, but it's something to start to think about. It's something to start to think about, neutrality. When I look at the atrocities, when I look at the injustices, when I look at what's unraveling out there, when they show me a dark planet, can I see it from a neutral perspective? Maybe, maybe not. That's okay. I'm floating down the river. I'm not going to try to make it wrong, right, good or bad. I'm going to try to just allow myself to feel whatever it is. But is it possible to step a little bit above this third dimensional field and say, oh, this is the alchemization process? How do I see what's unraveling through that lens? That it's literally density, lower energy, shifting into higher frequency energy, physically. Not easy, right? Not easy at all. And right now, in this now moment that you're in, that I'm in, that we're all in, we are being skyrocketed, lightning speed, shooting through this sort of dimensional kind of tube or tunnel right now. And there is a speeding up of the frequencies in our body. So we may be exhausted. We may be way more emotional than we have been in a while. We may have a lot more intense sort of experiences being had, maybe a little bit more irritability, or I've had it, I'm done. So many things, experiences can be felt right now as we are going through this process of what the Galactic Federation of Light has called a quickening, a massive quickening, right? Which just means a speeding up of the frequencies in your body. And then it can cause massive exhaustion like I had yesterday. It can cause high frequency vibrational buzzing in the body. It can cause headaches, dizziness, lightheadedness, ringing in the ears. It can cause you to have a huge appetite. It can cause you to have no appetite, right? So many things are happening right now, right in this now moment. There's no mistake that what is unraveling externally right now is happening in this now. It's accelerating. Everything's accelerating. I used to be one of those, well, there's no right or wrong in how we navigate this right now, okay? If you don't want to look at the dark, it's okay not to look at the dark. If you're being forced to look at the dark, have compassion for yourself as you're looking at the dark, right? The biggest message today from my guides was allowing it all to be okay, letting go of suffering. So how do you let go of suffering in the midst of all this that's unraveling, right? You take your hands off the wheel and you float down the river as you're experiencing it. Because we're not going anywhere. I've said this so many times. We're human. We're in this human body. We're in this dimensional field. We're moving through it. We're navigating it the best that we can. And you are here to navigate this. You are here to feel it. You are here to surrender into it. You are here to accept all of you, all of you, all of your human experiences, all of your past human traumas and sufferings, all of it. We got to learn how to embody it and accept it and love it, have compassion for ourselves. Instead of trying to escape it, pretend it didn't happen, navigate away from it. We've got to love the hell out of every single now moment going forward and surrender into, guess what? You're a human. Guess what? You're here. Guess what? There is an infinite amount of consciousnesses that you can feel in this now moment, ranging from massive amounts of rage to a massive amount of love, all at the same time. Welcome to the third dimension. You're not escaping it. You got to feel it all. And the more you allow yourself to just say, I'm here. I'm going to surrender into this. I'm going to surrender. What's coming today? Rage? Give it to me. What's coming today? Sadness? Give it to me, right? The more you can let yourself be in whatever is in the now, the easier it will be to navigate this. Instead of judging, attaching, right? It shifts everything. It takes so much courage to be in the body right now, to be in the physical body. It takes so much courage to feel everything you're feeling. It takes so much courage to remember what you're doing. It takes so much courage to do this. It really does. I don't think we really understand the dimensional field we're in. We don't get it. It is dense. There is so much to feel. And of course we want to escape out of it. It's uncomfortable. But we can't. We didn't drop in to escape. We didn't drop in to hit the eject button and say, just kidding, I made a mistake, I don't want to be here. Because the second you eject, you'll be like, oh my God, this is the greatest miraculous transformation in consciousness I've ever been able to be a part of. Let me go back down into the body to participate. I made a mistake, I want to go back in. And then you jump back in and you're like, oh my God, this is so intense. It's a pressure cooker, but it allows you to feel so much. The joy, the love, the freedom, the expansion, the light, and the rage, the sadness, the anger, the depression, the loneliness. It's all part of why you're here, to experience it. And to, more than anything else, literally alchemize the density into the light. To shift. And you get to do it however you want to do it. You get to decide. Sometimes just laying in your bed for an entire day is alchemizing the collective, believe it or not. Sometimes crying in the shower is alchemizing the collective and your own physicality, because you're alchemizing you as well, you the light. Practicing not judging your now moments, practice. Watch how often you judge, and then try not to judge. Try to just allow it. Just practice. Just practice that. What if it just is? What if I start to really remember, oh, okay, I'm in a lot of sadness or loneliness or depression right now. Is there any tiny possible aspect of me that can remember that I'm a higher consciousness in physical form, here to shift the collective and the earth plane? Maybe, maybe not. But the more you allow yourself to peek into that aspect, that truth, the easier it's going to be for you to navigate all of your nows going forward. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. You can protest, you can scream, you can stand out and do whatever you need to do, or you can sit at home and meditate for hours. Doesn't matter. You want to know what matters? What matters is that you dropped into the human form. What matters is that your eyes are wide open and you're awakened into who you are and what you're navigating. What matters is that you're feeling things. What matters is that you're trying to love yourself. What matters is that you're trying to have compassion for yourself. What matters is that you are integrating all of the aspects of you. What matters is that you're recognizing, oh my God, I'm in this dense dimensional field. Holy shit. I'm here to be the wayshower, to shift, to go forward first. That's what matters. Not how you're doing it, not if you're doing it the right way or the wrong way. There is no such thing. Being in the human body is it. How you navigate that going forward is just the extras. We judge that. Oh, this is the right way, right? The spiritual community has these ideas and paradigms of like, oh, you've got to do it this way. Oh, no, you got to do it this way. Oh, no, if you're doing it like that, you're not doing it right. Oh, no, if you're not, no. Do it however you want to do it. But feel everything. Feel everything. Try not to judge any of it. Try not to judge any of it. And when you judge, observe yourself judging. When you attach, observe yourself attaching. Right? Take the pressure off. You're not doing anything wrong or right. It's intense. It's intense. And the more you shift into the higher frequencies, the more you're going to feel, not less. And so we have to learn how to soften into all of what we're feeling. We're learning how to be masters in human form. That's what we're doing. How do I learn how to be a master in this human form? Because there's nothing wrong with any of it. And yet we get to have all our opinions about all of it. Hold that for a second. There's nothing wrong with any of this. And I get to hold all my opinions I have about all of it. Welcome to the quantum field. It's not black and white. You can't, it's impossible. You're gonna have opinions. You're gonna have right and wrong when you're in a third dimensional field. It's just part of it. And there's nothing wrong with any of it. That's the dichotomy of the quantum field when you're standing in a third dimension, is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with anything that's unraveling. There's nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with it. It's divine. It's perfect. It's exactly what is supposed to be unraveling. And I can have all of my human opinions and emotions and beliefs and truths around it. That's standing in a quantum space. Standing in a quantum space isn't standing in love and light and saying, oh, I'm going to pretend that everything is just fabulous. Well, that's denying the human. The human is going to feel anger. The human's going to feel rage. The human's going to feel uncomfortable. The human's going to feel lonely. The human's going to feel whatever the human's going to feel. To pretend that you're not is just kind of denying the human, which is kind of crazy because you're human, right? So you're learning how to hold all of it, the quantum space. If you're somebody that always is diving deep into the human, right, the third dimension, and you're just like intense in the emotion and the thought and the truth and the right and the wrong, and that's really a huge piece of where your consciousness and awareness goes, then for you the practice would be, can I step into this quantum space and say, oh, it's all divine actually. This is actually the alchemization of density or carbon into light or crystal. 3D to 5D. 3D to 5D. And if you're somebody that is always in that, oh, we're just shifting and everything's, beautiful, and I'm not going to feel all the density, because if I feel the density, that means there's density, and then it's not light and love. If you're one of those that goes into that space, can you also hold the very dense human emotions around it? Can you allow yourself to just feel anger and be okay with it? Can you allow yourself to feel sadness or loneliness or whatever your human aspect is feeling? That's integration. That's being whole, right? It's not black or white. It's not this is the only way or this is the only way. It's encompassing all of it. It's encompassing all of it. Learning how to love the human journey. Or I should say, learning how to surrender into the human journey. Right? Let's not make the human journey wrong. It's not comfortable at all sometimes. And sometimes it's super amazing, right? You're like, oh my God, life is freaking amazing. And then there's days where you're like, holy, this is not good. This is really, really not good, right? From both of those perspectives, can we look at the higher perspective, which is, I'm in the human body to literally shift consciousness. You're in the human body right now to shift an energetic field into another energetic field. You're here to shift human bodies and the physical earth body into a completely other dimensional field. Wrap your head around that for a second. It's like the first time you sat in an astronomy class, or astronomy class, right? Or a physics class, and you were starting to understand like stars and planets and how big everything was, and your mind was being blown. You're like, what the freak? I can't even grasp this. It's too big, right? Well, grasp this. You are a higher consciousness that dropped into a human form. You dropped in so that you could literally physically shift the entire earth experience into another dimensional field that holds a completely different frequency. And guess what? You're going to shift it while in the same physical form. So you're not going to take these bodies, these human bodies and the earth plane, and pull them into a different body. You're doing all of it by the beings and the humans standing. Oh, and by the way, all humans have free will. So you're not going to be able to coerce the human form. You got to do it energetically. Good luck. May the force be with you. God bless you. And off you went. And now you're here. And now you're in physical body. And now you're waking up. And now you're feeling everything. And now you're looking at the dark, dark, dark. And you're saying, OMG. How do we do this? Because guess what? Not only are you looking at the dark, but you're feeling your own darker, denser consciousness you experienced throughout your human life, because you had to experience that being in a third dimensional field. Nobody's separate. Nobody doesn't have trauma. It's part of the third dimensional existence. You're gonna have trauma, by the way, when you drop down. That's okay. I'll do it. I'll do it for the service. So here you are, right? And now you're feeling, oh, and by the way, when you drop down, you're going to be in a very dense field that feels so many things, you're going to lose your mind. That's okay. I'm going to serve. I'll remember. I'm going to remember. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to remember what I'm here to do. I know I will. I know I will. I know I will. And your guides are like, you will. And we're going to be right by your side when you do. Great. Thank you. Assist me. That's what's happening right now. Right now. And the more we can let that be, the more we can take the pressure off the fact that we're doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You're a massively high consciousness being of light from somewhere else that courageously chose to drop down into this density. You've done nothing wrong. Do you understand that? Nothing wrong. And every other human form, whether we want to agree with this or even hold this, has jumped into a human form. And we all are playing different roles here. But you are here to shift the collective and the earth plane. This has always been the design. Earth created herself for the sole purpose of experiencing a shift in dimensional fields while in the same physical body. Most consciousnesses don't do that. Most consciousnesses will shift into another dimensional field by jumping into and being that dimensional field, leaving a dimensional field and jumping into another dimensional field through shifting their frequency. Rarely does a consciousness stay in the same physicality and shift. Earth wanted to stay in the same physical form and shift. That's why she chose 5D to move into 7D. She didn't choose 3D, she shifted down into 3D. So now she's pulling herself back up to 5D to more easily go into 7D, the original design. And all of you volunteered to drop down in this now moment, and perhaps many other now moments, to assist in this physical shift. And you're going to do it the most miraculous way and unique way that you're going to do it, and you're already doing it. But we get so caught up, right, in the human aspect of the how, the why, the when, all of it. And so what you're seeing right now, both internally and externally, is a physical shift. And at the exact same time, you get to have every emotion, thought, belief, experience around it. You get to rage, you get to say no, you get to say yes. You get to jump up and down for joy, you get to break down to your knees and cry, whatever it is. It doesn't take away from who you are and what you're here to do, because no matter what, you're doing it. No matter what, you're doing it. Seriously, no matter what, you're doing it. It's the judgment of the ego that says you're not doing it, or you should be doing it a different way. In your dream state, you do get out of the body and you do remember who you are. But right now, if we were all able to sort of push pause on the human journey, and all of us were able to jump, squeeze ourselves out of the physical form and stand in this quantum space as the vibration that we actually are in one big room, we would take a big sigh. We would just relax for a moment and say, oh my God, is this journey intense? And we would turn to each other and say, how are you doing? You're like, oh my God, I chose this life that's just been insane. I can't even believe that I actually woke up. You should see the parents I chose. Oh my God, you should see the partners I have, right? The other person would be like, oh my God, I've had the most amazing human journey. It's been really easy for me, blah, 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 right? But we would be able to see it from that larger perspective. And no matter who you are, it's been a freaking journey. But we would also be able to see the shift we've been able to do internally for ourselves and for the collective and for Earth. And it's been a massive shift, you guys. We've done a lot of good work, whether you see it or not. Because even when the Galactic Federation showed me that dark planet, I saw the beautiful, beautiful high frequency Earth planet as well. I saw Earth shining in huge amounts of light. That's Earth right now. But so is that dark right now. And we have to be able to say, oh, okay. I've got my belt on. I've got my, my ascension belt and my ascension goggles, and I got this. I get it. I'm remembering. God, I'm remembering. as I figure out how to pay my bills and break up with my boyfriend or girlfriend, or, find a new place to live, or find the job that suits me, or whatever else that we're doing in the human journey, I'm also remembering. And the more you remember, the more you realize, oh my God, this is massive. And the more compassion you have for all of the humans that are doing their best to navigate what is unraveling right now. All of it. Because it's not easy to watch. And when you start moving into higher frequencies, guess what happens? This fourth energy center opens. Unbeknownst to you, without your necessarily conscious awareness, this energy center that opens you up to unity, which is we all are from the same source consciousness. When that fourth energy center starts to open, you feel in ways you've never really felt before. You start to open up to feeling things so intensely that it can break you down. It can rattle you. It can drop you to your knees. Both in a good way and in a bad way. You're feeling so much more. And eventually, in another now moment, some other way down the road, we will have compassion for all humans. Eventually. Right now, not so much, right? Not so much, but we will. We will. In the meantime, we open up to where we are. We open up to what we're experiencing. We allow ourselves to just have it, to just be with it. We give ourselves a break, right? Give yourself a break. If I had one wish right now, right in this now moment, it would be to pull all of you who are watching this live and on the replay, all of you out of the physical body, back into the complete aligned consciousness that you came from, so that you can drop into that remembrance. And the wish would be that not only would you drop into that awareness so deeply that you embodied it, but that when you dropped back down, you would hold that embodied remembrance in every now as you navigate the human journey. That would be my wish right now. Because when you hold that remembrance and that knowingness, it's okay if you're angry. It's okay if you're rageful. It's okay if you have addictions. It's okay if you have bad habits. It's okay if you have bad belief systems, thoughts. It's okay. Gives a shit. You dropped into the goddamn physical body. Excuse my language, but you're here. Hallelujah. Take the pressure off. Seriously. You got bigger fish to fry. Which is learning how to have compassion and love for yourself. The one thing that we skirt away from is having unconditional love for ourselves. How do I love myself when I'm having behaviors, that I'm doing behaviors I don't like? Try that. How do I love myself when I'm having thoughts that I don't like? How do I love myself when I'm feeling emotions I don't like? Try loving yourself unconditionally in those moments, as opposed to judging them, fixing them, making them wrong, or shifting out of them. Try just loving yourself. Period. You're doing a damn good job. That's what you say to yourself. You're doing a damn good job in your human body. You're doing a darn good job navigating that dense consciousness in that dense dimensional field. You're doing a freaking amazing job feeling that pain, feeling that sadness, feeling that rage, being in that addiction. You are doing the best that you can. And you will shift out of it when you're ready to shift out of it. How about that? Instead of, oh, no. This is a bad behavior. This is a wrong behavior. This is a lower consciousness behavior. You're a higher consciousness, my friend. You're a much higher consciousness. You are not the human behavior. You are not the human emotion. You are not the human addiction. You are a much higher frequency experiencing that. That's it. It's a ride you're on. It's a journey. Why'd you come down? Why'd you come down here? To alchemize density into light. To assist Earth and the humans and all beings on Earth to shift into the next dimensional field. To assist. That's why. And none of us were getting out without bruises. None of us were going to be able to do this without pain. None of us were going to be able to do this without trauma. None of us were going to be able to do this without having to be in a third dimensional field. That's what's so courageous about this. You understand? It's going to say this one more time. You came from a real high frequency. I don't care if it was the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th, 50th. You came from a high frequency. And you knew that a third dimensional field was extremely dense. You knew that. You knew that you would lose all remembrance for the most part. You knew that this would be a journey of remembering and reintegrating and realigning. You knew all this. This is nothing new. It wasn't like, oh, how'd this happen? And you still chose. You still chose to drop in. Not to experience the third dimension, to assist and to serve humanity and the earth plane. So thanks. Let yourself feel. Let yourself rage. Whatever it is. Stop putting it in a box. Oh, well, if I'm ascending, I shouldn't feel rage. It's a bit absurd, don't you think? If I'm ascending, and if I'm a high consciousness being of light, if I'm source, if I'm God, I shouldn't be feeling these certain things. What? Pretty sure you're standing in a third dimensional field, i.e. a crap ton of consciousness that you can't escape feeling. You know, even Ram Dass, I was listening to him the other day, he was constantly learning and remembering how to navigate density. He gave this example of going into a hotel room, walking into his hotel room. He was on a book tour or something, and it was a horror. He hated where he was. He was upset that he was going to have to continue touring. He was feeling human emotion. And so his way of navigating it was stepping outside and coming back in with a new frame of reference, right? But he was still navigating and experiencing the human piece. He didn't want to continue traveling. He hated the hotel room he was in. It felt uncomfortable. It was ugly, blah, blah, blah. He was having human experiences. Welcome, thank you. He didn't beat himself up. He didn't say, oh no, I'm not feeling this. This is bad, right? He walked outside and decided to walk back in with a different frame of reference, with a different way of seeing it. So we all are navigating this the way we can, the way we want to, the way we're choosing to, the best way that we know how. So look at how you're framing it. Look at the belief systems you're holding around it, right? And especially if it's really structured, really like really linear and structured in a box. Like this is how you do it. If it makes you feel restricted, like, oh, if I'm an ascending human, I should only be feeling this, this, this. Bullshit. No. Who said? Stop. No. You're going to feel it all. You're going to feel it all. I'll tell you one thing. From my experience, as I continue to shift into higher frequencies, I'm not feeling sadness. I'm not feeling pain or rage or anger or anxiety or any of those things. They still pop up. And I'm continuing to shift into higher frequencies. I'm just experiencing them differently now. I just experience them then differently. Right? I'm not attaching to them. I am not them. They just float through me. I just allow them to be. So this idea that we have in the spiritual community that as you move into higher frequencies, you're no longer going to feel the lowered frequencies, throw that out the window. Sit back, relax, and say, okay, I'm in for the ride. Let's go. I'm going to feel it all. Okay. That's it. Because what's happening on the outside, you guys, in the collective is massive polarity, right? Again, I saw a dark planet, I saw a light planet, right? Both planets exist right now in this now. We're standing on and in both. So we're going to feel both, right? There's going to be days you go outside and you're like, I will not wear a mask. Screw you. And then there's days you'll be like, I'm okay wearing a mask. Whatever. I'll wear the damn mask, right? There's days where you're going to really want to protest things, and there's days where you're not. Remember, from the bigger perspective, that just is the part of the human journey. What we're here to do is continue to embody our physical form, to continue to remember who we are, higher consciousness dropping down into form, to remember what is happening, which is density into light, carbon into crystal, 3D into 5D. That's what's happening. And you're doing it by allowing yourself to be both human and integrating and remembering and embodying the higher consciousness, coming into a whole piece, coming into wholeness. That's how you do it. And you practice. We're in sort of like training camp right now. We're practicing and learning all of this. When you remember, when you awaken and start to remember, you start to be, and you start to practice just being in the higher consciousnesses, which means not that you don't feel the lower consciousnesses. It means that you're being the higher consciousnesses while you are experiencing perhaps lower consciousnesses, and you're being in it differently. No attachment, no judgment, present moment, flow state, unconditional love and compassion for myself if I can, while I'm experiencing. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have lower density consciousnesses to be felt, seen, experienced. Because if you think that, you're going to be in a huge amount of suffering when all of a sudden you find yourself experiencing denser consciousnesses. You're going to suffer. Because you're going to pretend, you're going to have this idea in your head that you're not supposed to, or you're not going to be experiencing lower consciousnesses. Well, what happens when you do? Then you start to judge it as wrong, because you hold this paradigm that says, oh, no, when I move into these higher states of consciousness, I don't experience the lower states of consciousness. Well, that's impossible, because your body is still standing in a third and fourth dimensional field, so you're going to feel them. You can't not. It's a matter of being in the higher consciousnesses while you are navigating the lower consciousnesses and being in it very differently. Completely detached, and yet feeling it, honoring it, loving it, compassion for yourself. I am not that which I'm experiencing. It's just coming to the table and being part of my now moment until it's no longer one of my now moments and something else is a now moment. And I continue to hold the higher frequencies and remember who I am and what I'm doing here. So pay attention to how you're framing everything, right? How do you frame it? Is it restricted? Is it super linear? Is it like, oh, no, 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 this is the way. I was told this. Okay, well, how is it making you frame your experiences? We're trying to step away from a right and wrong in terms of how we experience our nows. All right. Anything else? I don't know why I'm asking you guys anything else. You can't really respond back. I'm going to upload it, yeah. So I haven't been able to save these for some reason onto like the way it normally saves on Instagram. So I'll just upload it as a post. I love you guys so much. That was a good pep talk. I needed that pep talk. I probably needed it more than, well, we all needed it perhaps, but it's good to have these pep talks every once in a while of just kind of remembering, you know. Trying to read. We got this. Thank you. Any quick questions that I can answer really fast? I'll be saving it. Just going to see if there's any questions. Yeah, it's going to go up on my feed because I can't save it on the actual Instagram live. Or you know how on the stories, it won't save on the stories. If it saves on the stories, great. Is it a good time to look for a new job? If it feels right, is it a good time for you to look for a new job? You know, does it feel right? You know, this is a good opportunity right now in any now moment, but right now there's a lot of new opportunities that are opening for so many of us because we're shifting. On a cellular level, we're shifting. Literally, physically, and energetically, we're shifting. So when we shift, our timelines shift. New things open, new opportunities open. So hell yeah, it's a good time to look for a job. If you're looking for a new job, open yourself up to it, right? We are shifting timelines and timelines and timelines and timelines. We're jumping multiple timelines right now during this quarantine or this, you know, massive purging of the collective. We're just, it's like timeline after timeline, opportunity, 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 right? Which one are you going to take? So yeah, open. There's a lot that's shifting for us. There's a lot of opportunities, right? There's probably a lot of different avenues perhaps that you're watching, like, oh my God, I could do this, I could do this, I could go here, I could go here. Or maybe there's no opportunity right now. Maybe you're just like, there's nothing coming up. Okay, great, sit. Just let it be. Right? I don't know if there's I don't know about retrogrades and like the astrology and eclipses. I don't know that stuff. How do we learn to love our past self who we shifted from, feeling shame from it? So you're integrating it, right? So if you feel shame or anger, or you don't really want to even look at your past, right? So your past was part of your human journey. It was part of what allowed you to be where you are now. And so a lot of it is forgiving yourself, right? Forgiving yourself for the journey that you had and learning to embrace that aspect of you, that part of you that experienced that. You know, seeing yourself embrace you in that other now moment. Having compassion and an understanding of, wow, in that now moment, you just did the best that you could with what you knew how to do. A bad connection. So you're integrating all aspects of your human journey. You're integrating it into you and back into the light and into your wholeness, into all of who you are. You're not negating it, pushing it away, or doing something else with it, right? You're integrating it. You're grabbing all of your human journey and saying, come with me. You're safe to be in me now. You're safe to be seen now. You're safe to be felt. You're safe to be experienced. You're safe to be loved. All these aspects of me that I lived, all the aspects of you that you lived, grabbing that and saying, thank you. You can come home now. You can come home to you, which is here. You can come home, which means you have to feel it all. You have to look at the traumas and the pains and the shame. And you have to love that shame. You have to love that part of you that felt shame, that did whatever it did. And now when you look back, you feel shame. It's integrating it back into you, right? Coming back into you, which means you have to love it. And you just practice. It's all integration. You're taking your whole human journey and you're integrating it into you. Okay? Okay. All right, I'm going to go. I love you guys. Be so gentle with yourselves. We are in a massive physical shift right now, like a massive shift. Like you're going to just sit back because there's a lot physically shifting in your body cellularly. The light codes are turning on. The light codes are shifting physically right now. If you're exhausted, if you just want to binge some Netflix series, please do it. If you just want to eat pizza, please do it. If you just want to fast for 7 days, please do it. Give yourself whatever you need. Seriously, I'm telling you right now, it's going to shift. We're going to be out of this, but this is a massive freaking physical shift. Big time. I've been told the last 2 days to literally stay in my house and do nothing. Like just sit in your house. Maybe watch some Netflix. So be gentle with yourself. Okay? You're doing a great job. You're amazing. You are amazing. You are so beautiful, so powerful, so courageous. Thank you for dropping into your human body. Thank you for being here, for being of service, whether you understand that, whether you agree with that or not. Thank you for being all of the human that you are, all of the human aspect. And thank you for remembering. Thank you for courageously remembering. I love you.